It's right about that time. Cool. Can I ask for everyone to stand, please? Put your stuff down. You're not going to need... Now, I heard that we have an injury. I mean to call anyone out at all.
It's okay.
If there's... I mean, and I think that this is, I mean, from jump, I think this is a great opportunity to always acknowledge that, like, we meet our students where they are. And, you know, the way I always engage is I'm like, yeah, whatever you can do, you know what I mean? And that covers all manner of intercept, because a lot of times, you know, no worries, a lot of times you'll just have, like, high school students that, you know, have a bad back. And you're like, sure. But then you'll absolutely will have actual limitations as well. So maybe where you are today is great. And whatever you can do, you know, well, I will ask you to do something physical. Do what you can do. If you can't do a backflip, because I will be doing a backflip, then like you do your best. Okay. Cool. So my name is Anthony Von Merchant.
Hi, I'm Dale. I was told yesterday that I would be co-facilitating this because someone was out, so, you know, work with me, folks.
Dig it. So we're actually going to start with like a quick story. Both myself and my co-facilitator had emergency life-threatening surgery in the past week. So like, yeah, we're rocking and rolling. I was very careful to be like non-life-threatening, but still emergency. So that's how we're rocking and rolling with this today. What else do I need to tell you about myself? Nothing. I'm a professional actor. I've been a teaching artist for like the past 7 years, actor for the past 12. Some of you have seen my face on a City MD ad. I guess you gotta be famous for something. Like all my work, all the work that I've ever done in New York, and my kids are like, saw you in the subway, and I'm like, cool, count it. So excellent. Yeah, and this is about poetry in motion. So this workshop that we've come up with, it's important to me and to Kelly, who helped co-facilitate it and is hopefully sleeping right now, that I give you the options. So I know that everyone's coming from different grade levels, and there are like points where I go, hey, this might be a tangent that you might want to like take it this way. Maybe this would be better for this level. It's important that I point those out to you. As we go, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask your questions. I do have a tendency to rock a little quickly. I get anxious. And I get excited. When I get excited, I talk faster. So please feel free to be like, I'm sorry, wait a moment. Cool. So first and foremost, we're just gonna do a straight up like, give me your name and a gesture to go with your name, and we'll go around the circle real quickly. So I would go first, and we're all gonna repeat it, right? So like I would go Anthony, and then we would all go
Anthony.
Nailed it.
Susanna. Maria.
Bach.
Leia. Jen.
Donzel.
Jordan. Rachel.
Raza.
Jim.
Natasha. Julian.
Delightful. Does anyone know how to play one-word tweet? Perfect. Does anyone know how to play one-word story?
Yeah.
Great, wonderful. Does anyone not know how to play one-word story? Great, perfect. Okay, so the way that one-word story would work is that we would like literally start a story from the beginning, but we could only say one word at a time. So like once.
Upon. Hi.
Perfect, and we would keep going, and then you get to like a period or whatever, and it's very much about listening, paying attention to what has happened before so that we can tell a cohesive story. Yes? Cool, great, awesome. Now, this is one-word tweet, which is totally the same, except a little bit different, because it's a tweet instead of a story, so we are aware of the fact that we have roughly 144 characters, so we can't go on forever, right? We're going to be telling a tweet. I'm going to give us a prompt. I'm not going to tell you what the prompt is yet, because I don't want you to spoil it. But at some point, let's say here-ish, we feel like we've gone through our like thing that happened in our tweet that we're tweeting about, and someone's like, yeah, this is the end. So Donzel is going to be like, I feel like that's the end of it. Donzel gets to go, hashtag, there is a total gesture that goes with it. You gotta do the gesture or else it doesn't count. Hashtag, cool. And then now you're like, Jordan, Yes? Only 2 names that I've learned.
Nailed it. Honored.
Good. Then Jordan gets to make up a hashtag that is going to be all of the words put together. Everyone else was limited by 1 word. You have to make it all, you have to put them all together because, you know, it's a hashtag and hashtags have no spaces.
Okay.
So you could be like, Thug Life, right? So Donzel will be like, hashtag, and you're like, I don't know what this hashtag means. Thug Life, but it has to have a gesture with it too.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
All right. You can't have Thug Life now. Thug Life is off limits.
That was,
Okay.
Yeah.
Then when it comes over here, name, sorry.
Rachel.
Rachel. I told you, only 2. I saw all this space for. When Rachel goes, all right, maybe I feel like there's room for another hashtag in here. Rachel has the option to be like, hashtag. And then you're going to be like, I got to come up with another hashtag. So you got to come up with another hashtag. And then you can either hashtag again, or you can be like, all right, we're on to a new thing, start a new tweet. And just be like, today, whatever, new word, new tweet, we start rocking and rolling. Yes? Does this all make sense?
Yes.
Everyone
Sort of-ish.
Tell
So we're not limited to 1 word. Everybody's limited.
The hashtaggers are not limited to
Hashtaggers
one.
are only limited to 1 word, but everybody else.
Other way around. Hashtaggers get to use all of the words because you're creating a thing.
Okay.
So, but everyone else is limited by 1 word.
Okay.
So similarly, today I went to the mall and bought Gucci. Hashtag. Oh, you know what? You would have been right. Hashtag is better there. I apologize. Hashtag. Mall rats. Hashtag. Hot topic life. And then but you would take all 1 word. Hashtag mall life. That's all yours because hashtags got to be all 1 word.
Okay.
Dig?
Yeah.
Now make more sense?
Yeah.
Better, closer, warmer.
We're getting there.
Now I think we're on the.
Let's do it.
Yep, I think we're on the let's do it form right now. All right, cool, excellent. So I'm going to step out, slide on in. Yes.
I'm just going to throw out a warning, just to warn the group. I've never Twittered
Me
in
too.
my life.
I don't too.
I
Excellent.
Never
Nobody
even
tweets.
seen it.
That's so great. Now you're gonna have the analog tweeting experience before the digital, and that's wonderful for you. Just so we're clear, there is a format to which a tweet goes, in which you post a message as you would on any social messaging board, a la any message board at all, but a la like Facebook. Today is a wonderful day. Then the thing about a tweet is that it has a hashtag, because the hashtag is the thing that everyone could look at. If you're like, today was a beautiful day, hashtag beautiful day, then anyone could start looking up hashtag beautiful days, and everyone who's put beautiful day in there will see all of those tweets. There's the format of it. That's why that's why the hashtag. Cool, great, wonderful. The word is vacation. Everyone?
Vacation.
Take it away.
Last week, I swam through
the.
There's no hashtag here? No hashtag. Moon.
Hashtag.
Now.
Swimming astronaut.
Nice gesture.
Oh.
No, nice gesture. Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Hashtag. Astronomy.
Also nice gesture.
I start.
It's up to you. You can either hashtag and make her come up with another hashtag, or you can start a new tweet.
Tomorrow. 3
Friends. Shall.
bicycle
Over.
Nailed it!
Mountains.
Hashtag.
Mountain biking.
Hashtag. Schwinn.
I love Schwinn. Can I ask for a different gesture, because that was our gesture for last time?
Schwinn.
Nailed it!
Hashtag
Yes!
outdoors with friends.
Gesture.
Hashtag.
Biking friends for life.
Gesture.
Okay. Last
Night.
Don't do it. You don't have to.
No, I was just trying to make it grammatical. Now I'm good.
No, you could, though. It still works.
It does. What was that again?
Night. Last night.
We. That just messes up your-
Drink.
Scotch.
And
Orange.
Liqueur.
Shots. Hashtag.
teacher life.
Hashtag. Orange crush.
Hashtag. Living my best life.
Yes.
Excellent, excellent. Give yourself a round of applause. I'm sorry, I cut you off. I didn't know if there was going to be another hashtag there. It felt like we had hit our triple on that, and it felt like we hit buttons. And just a reminder, now all of you have confessed to an online video, so that's been recorded. So remember, now it's all free sailing. All right, now like the most embarrassing thing has happened. Let's just rock and roll. Cool, excellent. Real quickly, what was that like?
Fun.
Yeah.
That was super fun.
Yeah. What's fun about it? What do you like about it?
I like the variation on the
Yeah.
one-word
Yeah.
story.
Mhm.
It's, you know, of course, like relevant, I guess, to students and
Yeah.
their you know, cultural landscape as far as social media goes, I guess.
Sure.
Seems like it'd be a good, I mean, it's like a good little writing prompt for our students. Because
Dig it.
if
And
we're doing this a lot, then.
Actually, it's been a while since I've done something like this, and I realized why my kids say these random things. Like, what? How does that connect to the story? But when you got to me, I all I could think about was the moon. I don't know why. I was like, but we made it work. So
Yeah.
just experience what the kids experience.
Yeah.
I think something I notice when I do one word story is that, especially if you're in a room with like 32 kids, by the time you get to kid number 32, they're like, what is this story about? And so I like that this like shortens it. There's the opportunity to sort of restart, and then with the hashtags, there's more of like a reason, I guess, or an incentive to pay attention to what's going on in the story. Because if you get the hashtag and you're like, I don't know what's going on, you're gonna be lost. So I appreciate it.
I have an improv troupe that I see twice a week, so I love this because I divide them in groups of 3 because of that, even though I have 15. But I like the hashtag part because sometimes when we're doing improv, they have to pick out the stuff that is important to take onto the scene. So that hashtag part, I think that would be great.
Forced filter.
Because it does filter them, and then with that, they would be able, I think, we'll see. I don't
It
know.
makes them like synthesize the story.
Distill it down.
Put it, into single words.
Yeah, for sure.
Also, I was going to say something about also sort of the moon thing, is that it gives the students sort of an experience with trying to heighten the stakes or, make this more exciting.
Yeah. Excellent. Cool. Yes.
Yeah, I don't mean to keep this going, but to the point about the synthesis, also when we talk about like scope of piece, like even just kind of like coming back to, well, what's the hashtag on this? Like even if it isn't a part of this, like wonderful warm up or pick me up or, like getting things rolling, I like the idea of having like a touchstone, like something to refer back to that isn't always like where it has to be explained, like they just know, and it's like maximizing time to like get to the root of something. So I really like that.
Dig it. The yes.
Sorry. I love this because I always have kids whenever I do one word story that like someone wants to like, okay, you say this, you say like they want to take over the story, and now there's like no option to do that. It's like it's gonna end after a few people make the hashtag, move on.
The only adaptation, not only, but the adaptation on this one for what will become obvious reasons is the hashtag and the physicality. That is like an added
Sprinkle?
that we're putting on, that me and Kelly put on this, that I was like, no, that's gonna roll through. So take that as you will, or will not. Totally up to you. But I think it's a fantastic. All of my things are like a fantastic game that you could use as a warm up, or you could do for a whole class. It's up to you. So yes, excellent, cool. Now, similarly, I'm going to give you another prompt, but this time we're not going to share the word out loud just yet. You're going to just come up with one word that comes to mind when you get this prompt. Think about it, embrace it. That's it. Your prompt is light. Everybody got a word?
No.
Nope, just gonna come up with a word that like, you're like, oh, when I hear light, I think this. One word. Thank you for not asking me what kind of light I mean. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all. Whatever kind of light means to you. Except that one. Just kidding. No, you're fine. Great. Everyone got a word? Wonderful. All right. So we're just, if you could just, I'm gonna step out. If you could just walk about the space, mill and seed, as we say. Trying to like fill that empty space, awareness of the people around you. We'll walk about that word in mind. Feeling good, feeling good. And then, if you could find someone and just share your word with them and have them share their word with you.
Oh, you took a different definition.
Shared? Shared? Word shared? All right, let's keep walking. And now you have another word in your mind, but I want you to hold on to your first word. The first word is always going to be the first word that you're sharing. All right? You're always sharing that first word, but you're keeping the other words in your mind. I'm going to ask you to hold 4 words in your mind at the same time. I know, it's crazy. I'm a man. I am a monster. I can't be stopped. Find another person and share your word with them.
The second one?
No. Of course.
Well,
Find someone else. They need to switch you because they read the same person.
Wait, you were saying your word. Steph,
Find
your
another
word?
person. Are we finding
Peace.
We should still be on second. We just had an accidental double up. So
Oh,
we're
okay.
you can do whatever you want.
I don't know if we're on
We're
person
still on
3 yet.
2.
We're still
Huh?
on 2.
We're remembering.
Have you done 2?
You don't need to remember your people, only the words.
Oh. Are we on person 3?
2.
We're not on 3 yet.
Well, our own word,
Our own word
and then the
plus
2 words.
Yes. Sorry. Yes.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
Our own word plus 2.
2 others. Yes. We will do one more.
Okay, great.
Fire.
So,
Yes. Keep walking.
Okay.
I'm gonna stay on this side of the room. I think it's so complicated. Notes for next time. Good to know.
Very
Good to know.
close. We have the same idea.
Keep walking. You don't need to keep the people in mind, just for the record. You literally only need the words. Don't worry about who the person was, unless it helps you remember, in which case I'm not here to judge you. Cool, last time. Find a third person and share your first word.
Spirit.
I know.
Got it?
Love it.
Shared? All right, go grab a seat.
Okay. Thank you, sorry.
At least.
Choose one.
It
could be our
Not our own? Oh, sorry.
Whatever you want. Any one of the
Oh, it
four.
doesn't matter. Okay.
Any one of the 4. Just choose one that you're like, maybe you're like, no, my word was dope. I'm using my word. Or maybe you're like, oh no, that's a better word. I'm gonna use that. Whatever's clever. It's all good. It's all good. And you will notice on one side of your chairs. I realize that one side is right, the other side is left. You have a post and a blank post-it. I know. It's right. Write your word on this post-it. You're facing the wrong end. Are you okay?
This is mine because I opened it up. Oh, it looks fine.
Also fine.
Invented.
Yeah, as long as we can read it, I do have, especially for like a person whose words are their business, I do have oddly free view on spelling. I actually feel more firm on grammar than I do spelling. I'm like, I don't know, spelling is
Doesn't need to be standardized.
right. And I'm just like, if we all look at that word and decide that it means the same thing, then like, it did its job, right? Okay, cool. So, yeah, that's right. So now, I've made this is our board to start our poem. Notice that we've already titled it our poem, Light. So if you could all come up and place your words on the board in whatever order inspires you. Like you can go one at a time. You should go one at a time. But maybe you want to put your like, oh, this belongs totally over here. Maybe this belongs up here. Da da da. We'll see what we got as we put it together. Yes. Interesting.
Oh, yeah. Two feathers.
We're seated there, we'd be in the way of everybody.
Ooh.
So cozy.
Interesting. Interesting. Is that everybody? Yes? Cool. So first of all, just as it stands, can I get one volunteer?
I'll do it. Go ahead. Me?
Can I? No volunteers, then
Said
5. Great, perfect. It's like a classroom. First of all, can you just read this poem as it is? Well, as it is, poem quotation marks, as it is quotation marks. However that means to you. Again, there's like, we have a weird order, things are overlapped, whatever it means to you, read it in the order, whatever it says. It's fine. We're just seeing what we got.
Just the words however I feel like it?
How it reads to you in whatever order it means to you.
Okay. So let me take a look really quick. Fire. Crystal orb. Step, darkness. Feather, peace. Spirit. Candle, shining, darkness.
Excellent. Cool. So first of all, I mean, that's a poem, right? Like, anyone doubt that is a poem? We could agree that is a poem, right? All right. Second of all, I would point out that, like, all of you wrote a poem. I don't know if any of you have this experience, but I know I certainly do have the experience, especially with my high schoolers, where you're like, write a poem, and they're like,
Yeah.
I could never! And you're like, well, also the reminder that, like, poems can mean a lot of things. Like, a poem does not necessarily mean a thing that rhymes in A-B format and blah, 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 right? It can be abstract. We can use a whole bunch of literary devices. For example, I see some repetition, right? We definitely have some repetition going on here. We definitely have imagery going on here. And there was one more thing. We don't have it in here yet. Yes, we do. Alliteration as well, all right? So, like, we've got stuff already going on here. Now, into deviation real quick. There are different ways to roll this step. This is how I'm doing this step now. I think that you also have the option of doing a one-word poem around with this step if you wanted to, if you were so inspired, that you've done the one-word tweet and now you're like, great, how could we make this a poem? Depending on, like, I think the grade level, not maturity, but the grade level and, skill level of your students, where they're like, can they hold a poem? Or maybe you come back to it, whatever. As this case would be, I would look at this and I would go, great, how can we play with this? Hence the Post-it notes, right? And just inspiration, this is not the only way to do this, but I would go, I would respect and like the repetition of darkness. That word spoke to you, or it spoke to more than one person. Enough that they were like, we need to use that, right? And I think the idea of a poem named Light, this is exactly how I would roll with my class. That's why I'm speaking this way. I like the idea of a poem named Light, to begin and end in darkness. I think there's like an imagery to that is quite beautiful. So I would begin and end with darkness. Here's my beginning and end, right? But if I begin and end with darkness, what should immediately follow darkness? There's not a right answer. What do you feel and why?
Fire feather.
Ooh, okay. Why fire feather?
I just see the fire feather, then I see an orb.
You know it's working because you get ooze.
A feather on fire, but not fire. A feather on fire.
So you want feather first?
But the feather is on fire. No, right there. Don't put it back. The feather is on fire.
Okay.
It's on the fire.
It was too deep for even me. Okay, cool. The feather is on fire. Beautiful. Orb. What does that lead to?
Crystal.
Yes?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yes, great. Next.
Peace step.
Tell me why.
Why?
Yeah, I mean, what are you feeling about it? What does it
Feel
lead?
like taking
What's
steps towards peace. Peace
Ooh,
step.
taking steps towards. See, that's awesome because this is why the explanation is super important because that's not what step means to me. So hearing you say steps towards peace, I'm like, oh, okay. For whatever reason, independently, which is weird because it's not like I went to an HBCU, but for whatever reason, I hear step independently, and I'm thinking, which I cannot do at all, but independently, just the word step, that's what it means to me. So I'm like, hey, when you say step, what do you, in that explanation? Awesome for building communication in the classroom, because now I'm starting to understand when you use this word, it means something else than what it means when I use that word, right?
But
Just
now it means that for me too.
Well, it's good. As well it should, right? I don't know, for whatever reason I think about, well, not whatever reasons, because of my students, I think of oxtail. And oxtail means something different to Jamaicans than it does to Trinidadians than it does to Dominicans.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same dish made different. It's when I say it just gives a different vision in your mind, right? Excellent. Just like pizza does for Italians. Cool. Peace step. What's next?
Shine, spirit.
Am I taking candle?
No.
What am I doing?
Shine, spirit. Shine, spirit.
Am I taking shine off of candle?
Yeah.
Okay. Just a choice.
Shine goes underneath step. Spirit goes underneath step. And then spirit goes by. Shine goes by spirit. Next to spirit.
Copy. Yes?
Peace step, spirit.
Is that right?
Ooh, feather candle darkness.
Feather. Your fire feather.
Read it for me.
Darkness, fire feather, orb, crystal, peace step, spirit shine, candle feather, darkness.
Yes? Yes? We feeling that? Yes, we feeling our poem? It's deep. It's deep. It's deep. It's deep. Okay. Dig it. So I really appreciate this use of alliteration wholeheartedly. I'm a big fan of that. I like that we honored keeping this together, and that we also were okay with letting this go, with shine candle, with letting that go. I think, especially if we were in a classroom, I'd be like, yeah, man, that's how we hang on tightly, let go lightly. We're like, I love my idea. Okay. Bye, and I'm gonna let this idea go, and that's fine, because you know what? We can make another poem. No big deal. It's all easy. We can easily make another poem. There's infinite ways that we could reorganize these to make something else, right? Okay, now, I want to come up with just, can everyone stand again? Would the two of you just take like 20 seconds to come up with a shared gesture for Feather?
Can we speak to each other?
Absolutely.
Okay, maybe I'll alternate.
Oh, yeah.
you know.
Okay. Oh, yep.
It should, I like it. It should be a gesture that like everyone can do independently.
Oh, okay.
No, it just shouldn't be like, yeah,
one
everyone
side.
everyone can do it by themselves.
How about just floating?
Okay.
Can it be moving?
Absolutely.
gesture?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm
just that
happy
it
with this.
can't be dependent on someone else.
I am thrilled.
Okay.
Excellent. All right. Can you teach us all?
Everybody, you're going to stand with your feet in parallel position. Okay, your arms are going to be at your sides. You're going to release your body a little bit. You're going to kind of have a little bend in your knees. And then you're going to sort of sway. I think that's our action verb right now. You can sort of move your hips a little bit back and forth and gently.
Ooh, delightful.
I feel satisfied.
Excellent. Excellent. Who had darkness? Excellent.
Done.
Is this it?
Yeah.
Teach it to us.
Stand how you want to, stand however you want to, and just reach your hand out. Look at your hand.
Okay, it's darkness. All right, I love it. Cool. Cool. So, ooh, I don't know, think we have some other words that we really want to honor in here, but I'm going to say fire. I'm going to start with fire. Can we come up with a word for a gesture for fire? Anyone, or whoever had fire? Yes.
Well, I wrote it.
Okay, take it.
Somebody else.
No, by all means, take it
Lawyer.
away. What would you like the gesture for fire to be?
So it should be like ignition. So standing and shoulder. Let's see. We are. So it's 1, 2. 1, 2.
Excellent. I love this.
That's a fun one to do.
Cool. Dig it. All right. So let's review the ones that we had. All right. First we have feather. Cool. Excellent. Then we have darkness. Ooh, I like darkness. I'm really liking darkness. Darkness is cool. And then fire, which is magical. It's very magical. I like that a lot. Okay. Cool. Excellent. We're gonna come back to those, definitely. Right? Excellent. Now, Al, I'm gonna ask you to mill and seethe about the space. I'm gonna throw some of these other words out to you. As I throw them out to you, I want you to think about like, what does this word mean? Is it a full word? Is it a small word? Does this word take up space in my mouth? Is it a word that like is full? Is it a word that's quick? What is the personality of these words as I lay them out, right? Orb. A little bit of thought about it, a little bit of think on it, yes. And just one at a time. It's orb. Is it fast or slow?
Slow.
Slow. All right. Ooh. Air conditioner, please. Small. Hey. Huh? Oh, no worries. Is it? No, great. Is it large or small? Is it a big word or a small word? Yeah.
Big.
I think it's big.
Yeah. Why?
Because it's moving all the time. Enveloping.
Voluminous.
Why is it small?
Round sound.
I picture it as like, you know, when you take a picture and there's little orbs of light, and you're like, oh, is that something else?
All right, let's try it. Let's try both. We go big and small. We can try either way. That's great. Doesn't matter. Fast or slow?
Slow.
It's a slow word. Okay. Yes, we did that. That's why I have a turtle. Excellent. Made a picture draft. Yes. So cool. Now, crystal.
Fast.
Okay.
Is there a medium option?
I mean, I would say, I would quite honestly say to my class, we're like, you might find a medium option in the doing, but for the sake of exploration, you're gonna mine more by playing extreme first, and then you can narrow it. It's like a haircut. It's real hard to get the hair to grow to where you want it to, but it's real easy to trim it down. So go stay long and then work on trimming it. These are meant to be bunny ears for fast.
Ah.
I know, it just looks like an M. I'm not a good drawer. Cool. Big word, small word. Crystal. Small?
Oh, big.
Okay, why is it big? Why is it small?
Because they're super expensive. Like, why not let's use our imagination to have a huge crystal?
They're also able to hold a lot of information.
You refract light.
Healing things. Healing properties. Very big. Very large.
I'm just gonna say yes.
Yes. Large. Large and in charge.
Fast. Oh, sorry, we did fast, slow. Sorry. No. What is its relationship to org? Is it? Are they married? Are they separating? Do they get along amicably with the one kid? You know, Shard, their kid.
They're definitely friends.
They're friends.
Yeah, because they both have healing. They're both part of the supernatural world.
Okay.
They're both powerful.
I like that.
Yeah, very powerful.
Ooh, also I like powerful, by the way. I like that as a word. As a description, this is now a battery.
Yeah, I know.
Delicious. All right, great.
Can we use sharp for crystal and smooth for ore?
Oh, you absolutely can. Smooth. Sharp.
All the modalities.
Yeah, excellent. I like this. I like it. That's wonderful. All right, cool. That's literally just 2 words. You can just stand still for a second. Sorry, I didn't mean to keep moving that. Just meandering aimlessly. Cool, excellent. So now, can we try it with all this in mind? No wrong answers. We're gonna figure it out. But knowing that we think that orb is slow, smooth, powerful, and either large or small, can we just try saying no gesture? We don't have to do a gesture with it. If you feel like it needs a gesture, I'm not here to shut you down. But what does orb sound like? Well, how do you want to say that now that we've informed that word with so much? What does the word orb sound like?
Like the Force.
I was thinking Darth Vader
Star
too.
Wars,
Yeah.
maybe
That'd
old,
be
like a real
great
thing.
too, yeah.
I don't know. I'm not even into Star Wars, but that's the thing that came to
Yeah.
mind.
I love it. I adore it. I'm here for it. I love it. Cool. Excellent. So that's what orb sounds like. Wonderful. And Crystal?
Whisper.
Can I hear it?
Oh.
Do we like that?
Yeah.
Great. Can y'all put them together? Yo, making a play. Okay. Cool. Great. And now, just to review, feather gesture. Actually, you know what? Pause. Let's just put it all together. Let's put these first 2 lines together, all right? So we got darkness, fire, orb. Darkness, fire, feather into orb crystal. Yes? Mm-hmm. We ready? Mm-hmm. All right.
Darkness.
Fire.
Orb.
Feather.
Sorry.
No worries. Onto a thing. Okay, we only have 15 minutes, so there's a thing that I want to try in it, but I want to get through these other words so we can put it all together, okay? Similar idea, now that you could take, again, this is where I go, hey, you could take as much or as little time with this as you want to. This is the kind of thing that's like, you want to do this for one class, or you can do this for like 2 weeks, or you can do this for a semester. Whatever you want to do. But having done this, and because we're all adults in the room, now without walking around the space, knowing the kind of like words that we're looking for, talk to me about the word peace.
It's a
Short and
it's smooth.
Smooth and level.
This all makes perfect sense. This thing that I've just made up right.
Slow.
Huh?
Did we say slower pass?
We didn't. It's slow. I think the thing I'm most proud of is my turtle. So
Yeah, I like it, yeah.
let's go with that.
It's comforting. Comforting.
Comforting.
Blanket.
It's
Cup
got
of
the
cocoa.
worm sound.
Yeah. Also like a blanket. Great. All right. Cool. So both long and slow. I enjoy that. I think it's true. Smooth, comforting, slow. Yes. What's that sound like?
Peace.
It is hard to not follow that up with the charms wound up. Way to go, guys. Wow, that's great. Excellent. I love that. Okay, step. A little bit quicker, a little bit quicker.
Fast and small.
Sharp.
The sound effect.
Okay, so bunny ears. Sharpie sharp. Small, you said?
Yeah.
Collab, like she just said.
What if it's just a sound effect? Could we do that?
What is it? What is it if it's just a sound effect?
Instead of a word?
Is that what kind of
What she
coconut?
just
Like coconuts cut in half, you go pop, 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 pop. Monty Python.
Is that an African or a European swallow?
Radio show.
What?
Is that an African or a European swallow?
It's European. I don't know.
That's the Monty Python. That's the end of the Monty Python. I got you. Don't worry. I got you, baby bird. I'm here. I was there the whole time. You are safe. All right. You are safe here. So is it just a clip clop?
Yes.
Let's try it. This is the best part. Just try it, right? So can we make the clip cloppy sounds? I'm a resident expert. We're following this lead, just so we're all clear.
I'm going like one short, one short.
You got the perfect.
Almost like an I
Yeah.
am. What a time to introduce another device. It's an I am, y'all. Look, I am's happening. Okay. Cool. And I'm just gonna write sound so that we know that we're doing a sound for that, right? Excellent. Spirit, talk to me.
Let's keep this on going. Whoosh.
Ooh, okay. Let's try it. Let's see what happens. I'm excited for it. So that's gonna be whoosh. Tell me about this whoosh. Everyone? Excellent. Cool. Shine. Oh, we're going all sounds now. Again, now is an excellent time if you want to get, English teachers on your side to be like, oh, look how we're introducing some onomatopoeia in here. And if you want to go be acting teachers about it, now is a great time. I don't know how y'all teach this, but let me see who would be the person in here to do it. I'm going to take a chance on you.
Okay.
Come on.
Okay.
Can you say the word pink? Yep, there it is. Nailed it. Cool. So I always say put the pink in pink, right? Like that's the lesson of it, right? Where it's like, look, every word, but there's definitely some words like pink that you're like,
It sounds like
what it is,
Yeah.
right? It just sounds like what it is. And there are some, that's why I was like, let me take a chance. There are definitely people, and there would be people in all of your classes that someone's gonna be like pink. And you're like, and then someone's gonna be like, pink. And you're like, yes, pink. You're like, that is pink. So yes, to put the pink in pink, right? So when we go to word like this is what we're digging, we're mining for in shine and spirit and all of the words that you chose, but you're like, yeah, put the thing in it. So when you just put a sound on it, I'm like, yeah, 110%. It's wonderful. So shine, you said. All right, cool. Are we 4 ings or 3?
I think 3 is better. I like 3. Yeah.
Got it? Okay, cool. 1, 2, 3. Excellent. Candle.
Oh, say it as a whisper. Same as crystal.
Same as crystal?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
I have one pushback on that. I don't think it's smooth. I mean, I don't think it's sharp. I don't think candle is a sharp word. I
So
don't
whi-
think. I can be
whis-
convinced otherwise.
Smooth whisper.
What about a smooth, low voice?
There you go.
Low
I have a
voice.
question. Are we still on sounds? Are we doing visuals still?
Totally up to you. I
Does it
mean,
matter?
we're on the, like, we were rocking, we rocked sound for a while. We hit a bit of a theme, and I was like, all right, cool. And
Great.
Maybe candles like a Barry Manilow. Like a tea like candle.
Like
Like a
smooth
smooth
jazz.
jazz.
In your
And
chest.
it's
Like
low
little
chest.
a little accent. What's the accent?
Oh!
Oh!
Like
Okay.
a boy. And
Ah, yes. Using the diphthong.
yeah. Exactly what it was.
3 years of graduate school, 30,000 in debt. Nailed it. Nailed it. Cool, cool, cool. But we're still whisper. Dig it? Okay. And then feather we already have our gesture for, and darkness we have a gesture for, yes? Oh, okay. I love it. We're doing fantastic. Cool, 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 cool. All right, so now, can we try? Yes. Yes, that's the way to do it. I think, he said. Can y'all grab a seat over here? This group over here, grab a seat. In these chairs so that y'all can see the poem.
Yeah.
Today's presentation of Light, a poem performed in one act by the Morning Group.
Darkness. Fire.
Feather.
Feather.
Excellent! Can we switch places? Switch places, and now I want to try. I have one note. We're going to try this time. One note, one note. Now, for those words that we have gestures for, can we try not saying that? Yeah, you were there already?
Yeah, I was going to say it was interesting to see in that first one how we said some words and not others when they had sound. So I was just wondering like what that would look like with the others.
I love it. All right.
I'm with it.
Ladies and gentlemen, a second recitation of the poem Light. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Can I get everyone on their feet now? In a circle? First of all, I think this is a lovely poem. I think it's very well done. I want to try maybe one more thing. Let's say that it's one more thing, unless I'm lying. And that is, I want you to go back to the word that you wrote. Everyone remember the word that they wrote? Okay, so now we're going to do the poem again, except instead of everyone doing every word, you're going to do your word.
He wrote fire.
You wrote fire?
Oh, I wrote it. Oh, sorry.
Orb.
Peace.
Ching-ing-ing-ing.
I don't remember that part of the
Think
poem.
ocean.
Yes. Okay.
As we meant that.
Okay.
That's kind of the reaction to
You don't know when darkness.
You know it.
Cool. So, without getting into the, what was that like?
Fun.
Yeah.
It was interesting because I think a couple of us wanted to join in.
Right?
And it was, yeah,
Mm.
it was a practice in and listening and watching.
I felt like a pressure to honor like the interpretation, like how that we were all coming up with, like, oh, we did that, okay, yeah, so you know, rock with that and make sure like it sounds the way we all heard it or felt it in communicating that.
I was taken to different places during each stage of that. Like when we were up our section, and then when you guys did your performance and all together, took me to very different mental places.
Mm-hmm.
So I interpreted that very differently all 3 different times.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
I think it's really important, especially as like, again, I don't know what grade everyone has in here, but I think it's really important as you're getting into or bringing students into a community of art makers that they, you know, that they learn to play well with others, and that means like seeing things from as many different ways that they can. I think of some of my favorite students, but they're like ferocious in like determined that something has to be the way that they say, and I'm like, bro, sorry. Like the world has spoken, and like ching 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 ying 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 is 3 and not 4. Sorry about it, but that the word has been handed down, you know, and then being like, oh, okay, I can see that as somebody else's choice. I can see that as something that has grown. I can see that as like, you know, I had my idea, but maybe I need to let this go. And I think as many different, like, how I took it, as many different ways that you can be like, oh, I saw it like this, which is why I had you split it up into groups, and that's also why I had you reclaim your word after it's gone through some change, to be like, hopefully, thankfully, that you're like, oh yeah, well this did change to something, and it is, again, your word made bigger by the group. And again, the goal, and sometimes you might want to spell that out for people. Like sometimes you want to like literally tell them, be like, hey, look how you made a word, and now your word has grown into so much because of what we all did together. And other times you could be secret, let them figure it out for themselves. But either way, it's like, that is a look at what you created, look at what you made in this whole thing. I really, really enjoyed that that last performance of it. I love that feeling of like, oh, I have to honor this thing that we made. I think that's fantastic. I'm doing great. I would also say, just on the topic of how you could change this, or how you could modify whatever, depending on how prolific your writers are. I think there's an opportunity to use each word or a word as a prompt for a line of poetry, depending on how deep your writers are, or someone is. You know what I mean? Like, I could literally, off the top of my head, if I saw, poem is light, darkness, fire. Fire flames fiercely from fingertips. Boom. And then I go like, oh, that's a line that I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to use alliteration for this line. And then like, feathers, feather, and then I can move feathers down, create a new thing. Feathers, those fire flames fiercely from fingertips, feathers, feathery orbs, crystalline palaces. And you're like, okay, someone can do that if they have the wherewithal. If you've got someone who's like, who wants to do that. If you have someone who's like, yeah, this is my thing, put me in. That is an opportunity to start that in the same way that it's like that one-word poem where you're like, oh, they can keep a more, what's the word that I want to use? A more, less abstract concept of a poem, you know what I mean? Like, this is super abstract, and if you were doing like a one-word poem situation, you could be more direct in your poetry. You know, you could be like, a flame that lights the fire atop the block. You know, you could be way more literal. Not completely, but you could be way more literal if you wanted to, depending on your situation. Dig? Cool, excellent. Yes?
They'd be writing a poem basically inspired on those words?
You could. I mean, yes, it would be at your choice. When do you want to interject? You know, you're like, to someone, so like, I would open it up. I'm sorry, I know we're at it. I would open it up at like.
I think you've still got like 4 minutes.
I don't think you do. I'm according to my timer, but okay. But I trust you. But I would say, I'd be like.
I mean, only one of us is the Virgo here. But you know, you do you.
You know what? I defer to Virgo. So when you put these up on the board, I would go, like, let's say that you had just put these on the board, right? I'd be like, oh, it seems like fire feather. It feels like something might go here. Does anyone feel like inspired to write something off of fire feather? It could be anything. Like, maybe it's a word, maybe it's like a little bit more, and then I got my Post-its, right? And someone could be like, oh yeah, fire feather. And you know, this is again the impetus for, depending on your kids. You know, like maybe I don't know, maybe Mary Sue's like super duper in her poetry phase, and like is ready to write something really dark about like the feather that floats from the ground. And like, I don't know, like maybe Daryl is deeply into his Drake phase, and he's like gonna, you know, do alphabet aerobics with F on feather, and like both totally valid. Both totally valid, and be like, oh great, I'm glad that you can make that happen. Although alphabet aerobics was Blackalicious and not Drake. Anyway, cool. So does that make sense as far as like placement? And again, this is like, there is a freedom to how do I want to interject. You can keep it totally as we did. Be like, well, what do my kids need? How do I zhuzh it so that it works for them? Yeah. Do I have any other questions as far as like how to do the thing?
Not a question, just an observation in the process was when you told us to write down a word and you said it didn't have to be our own. I wrote down somebody else's. And so I was watching my word, which somebody else chose, had a secret life.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah. I love that, and I will say that is entirely Kelly's addition to this as well. Yeah, but I think that's great. I love that. Again, I think it's another lesson in like, hang on tightly, let go lightly, where you're like, oh, you know what, I can let go of my word. And then your word goes and does a thing, and you're like, oh snap, that was my word. So I think that's awesome. I love that. Yes. Anything else?
Did we get the lesson plan for this?
You have the lesson plan for this.
We have it in the email?
Sure do. I got you.
Thank you.
Again, observational, not a question, but I also like the way, or at least what I'm seeing, the way that this could also go as like individualized performance art or group performance art.
Absolutely.
Because I don't know if any of y'all go through this, but like my class sizes vary with all my middle schoolers, 6th through 8th grade. So in smaller groups or larger groups, it's nice to know that there's like space to, you know, explore and make it, you know, modified to how that would work for time management.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we're like, cool, what is that? You know, and we absolutely gets to contribute, and we go like, great, what is that? How is that? Or do we say the thing? Do we sound the thing? Yes, that's. Is it a move? Like, I don't know. I get to make fun of him. He's getting married. I'm getting on a plane today to go to my friend's wedding, who I was in graduate school with, and one of the running jokes in graduate school was. It was our last year. We're like in this class that was called Epic Movement, and I know it is exactly what you think. Like we had to run about the space as if we were being chased by lava bears. Like it was insane. But Jay, we're at the end of a class of like 2 hours of being chased by lava bears. Our professor is like giving us notes, kind of, and Jay's like, I mean, he's like 35 at this point. Like, he's not young. And he's like, restless, and he just goes, I'm sorry, miss, can I just, like, I gotta dance? I just gotta dance right now. And, like, literally, she's like, I mean, okay. And she's teaching, and behind her, Jay's just like, and That's what that vibe feels like. And they were just like, oh, you gotta dance. You were gonna say?
Well, I guess kind of piggybacking, I feel like this would be also fun and like what you were saying, going off the reflection. I could see doing this even in like an improv unit where students would like create a character like based on one of the words. And then also what you were saying about someone drawing, like I have a lot of like reluctant participants in my school, and there's always like a handful of kids that are like, Miss, I'm just here for my credit, I don't want to be in theater. And this is something that like they could keep track of. Like they could keep track of the hashtag, they could keep track of like the words in the poem, what was done, so it's a way to have everybody participate who otherwise might not do a theater activity.
Kind of piggybacking off of that, I'm sort of leading towards a playwriting unit, and I've been trying to sort of like draw connections between this and that because, you know, poetry and like a full length, narrative are slightly different, but kind of gauging like your opinion or anybody else's opinion of maybe like applying this to like the early phase of like a group or a team, you know, trying to just create like a simple story, something with meaning, you know, connecting the physicality as well, which is something that they're going to have to do within the work.
Definitely.
I was just going to ask that actually, to answer my question. Could it be like an introduction to language? The weight of words, and before you go into, you know, your script writing process?
Or symbolism too.
Something like
Yeah.
I was going to do that too.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing also.
I was gonna ask something about the hashtag idea, so sorry. But you go first, because I think.
Oh, okay. So I have two things. I like the idea of making do the whole class demonstration with one of them, but then divide them into groups of 5 with a different word. And I'm thinking it could be either like a social emotional development word just to build ensemble. But I'm also thinking of some other workshop where we outline the body in a position that represented the word and then put the words on there or something.
For
and
sure.
Then for Romeo and Juliet, I thought also maybe taking the themes of Romeo and Juliet and like one word themes and doing that for.
Dig it. So I think two different thoughts, and I will try to keep track of both of them at the same time. Not going to be easy. I think that using a social emotional learning word is a really good idea. We use them during the summer with our next kids, so they like know what they are. But not but. I think it's cool. I would not do it first.
Okay.
You know, I'd be like, let's wrap our minds around the idea of how we're creating these things first, and then the step up is the advanced word, or the advancement of the word. Not that like, you know, rigor is a hard word, but just that like let's do, you know, happy first, and then we'll be like, all right, so what does rigor mean? What does that look like? You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I was thinking those simple words anyway.
Never mind that. Sorry, when I hear social emotional learning words, I think rigor, and now I can't remember any of the other ones.
No, I'm thinking like really. I have pre-K through 8.
Okay, gotcha. No, I think of the
Friends.
7 social emotional
Family.
learning. So then, yeah, never mind. That's great. That's fantastic. Do that. Wonderful. Yeah. No. That sounds fantastic. And then for Romeo, that was the other. The other thing was, this goes for everyone. The way that you play with the word, as in what does it sound like, that should be whatever works for you. So like, I have, you know, $30,000 in debt, which means that I know at least 4 different systems of like how to say words and where they go, and you should use whatever sounds right to you. Like, I very much like, because it's just physical, to do like animals, or like, this is a fast word, this is a slow word, this is a sharp word, but like, we also played with the idea of viewpoints, because it's the same concept as well, you know, where it's like, oh, this is a long word, this word has duration, versus this word is quick, versus this word is repetitive. All of those, however you want to describe the word, do it in the way, or like you want to describe words, do it in the way that's comfortable to you, because it's going to be easier for you to communicate that to your students. So like, however you get down on describing words. Yes? Cool. Is it about, Yes.
I'm sorry. I had something to add about the idea for playwriting too. I think it's pretty quick. But it came from the hashtag thing. So I don't know if anybody's heard of Mel Shapiro's autodrama, but he's fantastic. And it's the idea of like using metaphor for your life. But my life is a 3-ring circus, ring 1, ring 2, ring 3, right? It could also be my life is a series of hashtags. Made me think about how we could use like, oh, hashtag for my early life, act it out, bring that into a narrative. Hashtag for midlife, bring it out to a narrative. Still midlife, bring it out into narrative.
I like
High school student. Yeah.
Yeah, I like for, it's interesting because we do definitely do a lot of playwriting, but for this, what I like about introducing it early, and I could totally be wrong, but I like that it introduces the idea of physicality coming with the word rather than after. You know, like I wrote it down, then I'll act it later. You're like, nope, all together, all in one bit. So I do like that aspect of it.
And like and pacing too. That's why I was like, I'm thinking to myself too as we were like saying it, that when we like, because I to the point about the playwriting unit, I do that with my middle school in the second half, and so I always am struggling to explore rhythms and pacing of a piece and like making your story move and not just like writing text, but how do we explore like the different rhythms of a piece, different pacing, and how that aligns with like the shifting of temperatures in a piece, and so this to me, to Jordan, correct?
Yeah.
To steal your idea, I love the idea of this being like introductory in a way, because without having to sort of like verbalize it in a very dry way, this is sort of like an on your feet exploration of like text and physicality and pacing and rhythms, and now let's write a play that has all of those things. So I'm about all that. Sorry, I was like very excited about it.
Oh, for sure.
Great.
Some people are physical learners like me. I don't learn my lines until I do the action.
Right.
So now that I'm marrying the action to the word, I've already memorized it. You know what I mean?
110. Literally, I could spend 10 months looking at a
Right.
script and be
Until
like,
you do
I
it.
need one rehearsal, please. Like, just one rehearsal, and it will make sense, but I cannot. Yeah, I feel you 110%. I feel like there was another thing that I wanted to add on to that, but it is gone. Cool.
Bye.
Do you...
Yeah, everybody take a seat.
All right.
Like this starts to show them the control that they have over the delivery and what interpretation is, and that another group, yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of possibilities in dividing it into 2 groups, having each group do the same poem, but with these like bold, crazy choices, and then seeing how they turned out. And talking about interpretation, because you're getting the same line, but how did these 2 groups make you feel different and experience it differently because of that? Y'all did my job for me, so thank you. I appreciate that. I had a couple of things that came up in my head, and I just wanted to put it out there. There was a point in time that it wasn't necessary for it to be happening, but he actually referred to it as meandering aimlessly, where he was talking about like mouthfeel and are these big words or small words, but instead of standing in a circle to discuss it, he had you walking. How did that feel? Did it seem useful? Why? I wasn't doing it, I am literally asking, because it was an interesting technique that I'm not familiar with.
As someone who couldn't walk, I like the idea of walking and doing things because it lets, I'm not like, oh, I gotta think. It's like, oh, my body's moving, so it just happens naturally.
More free.
Yeah, it's like as your brain is wandering and exploring, so is your body. So it like just allows you to do that because it's more physical. And also, I feel like when people are, I feel like students might think that they're being judged just because they're asked to think, and they're doing that while people are looking at them. So if everyone's meandering, then no one's really feeling like they're being looked at, and they can just be more exploratory in their brainstorming.
Definitely from the side, it felt more like a popcorn of voices than an actual now everybody turn and stare at this person.
Yeah.
So you could pile on without feeling, particularly self-conscious. So just taking it in a kind of different way, where do you think this exercise lies in the blueprint?
Playmaking.
Making connections.
Collaboration.
And what would you use this, you did some of this discussion. Well, let me step back because it's the other big word for the day. How do you make this culturally responsive?
Well, the words come from the students, right?
Mm-hmm.
Student-centered.
I mean, we started with a theme, so depending on the theme, you would elicit different, word responses. So I mean, like the word could be culture, and then, the post-its or the words that are produced could naturally maybe reflect their own cultures, possibly.
Did you see examples of it being culturally responsive in here this time?
I think just giving the option to not be so tied to speaking every word and saying this word can be just movement, or this word can just be sound, or this word can be a rhythm, and just finding different ways of communication that aren't so holding on so tightly to the language has to be exactly as it is for this to be right. So I liked how we did that as the process moved forward, and really explored how different meaning can be communicated in different ways.
That actually just made me think of something too, the idea of with theater making and acting class, there's always, at least what I have seen in my experience, there's always this immediate reservation about writing or reading that could be tied to playwriting or script work. So in this case, I like the idea of sort of the one word or possible visual, or even the space for L learners or anyone who is multilingual, to possibly write words in their language of origin, and not writing out full sentences, but one word, exposure, other people and other artists are saying that word in the space. So I think it lends itself to sort of that varied way of learning, different avenues.
I go back to the pronunciation of candle. So 98% of my kids are from Haiti or other places, and the pronunciations are different. And getting the kids to be comfortable and understand how each other, how they pronounce the words. So that is culturally responsive.
And I think sometimes we feel very pressured with the idea of culturally responsive teaching, when actually I think the best thing that happened in here that was culturally responsive was when we got to Peace Step.
Right.
And suddenly there was a quick discussion of, oh, that's not what the word step means to me. And then being totally open to the fact that it has two meanings. But having that quick question of, peace step, why do you say that? Just giving that space that all of these questions of, because this is how that pairs for me, that's culturally responsive teaching. And it's saying, I'm meeting you where you are and allowing this to be relevant for you. And oh, you created a connection that because of my background, I didn't make. Well, that connection's part of our poem now. So it really is a lot more in the asking than the telling when it comes to the culturally responsive stuff. And this does leave a lot of space for those discussions without making them dominate the room. But they're still happening. We're still learning about each other. We're still seeing how these things happen. Unfortunately, we are 1 minute over, so I have to let you go. Thank you so much. And thank you, everybody, for just jumping in with us, because it was a ride and you all took it. So thanks. If you did not sign in, please be sure to do that over on the table.